Hello! My name is Ryan Yoakum, and today I just have a little bit of miscellaneous information that you might find very helpful as well for looking for information about companies as well as for a variety of different aspects of this project, basically. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is related to public companies. So we mentioned Business Source Complete in a previous video, but I want to show here that you can actually also get information typically about a company on their website, basically. And you'll typically see two different sections of a website. So we're on the HCA's website, which is the same example we used for the Business Source Complete video. We can go to who we are to better understand what this company is about. And we can go to About Us, for example, and they'll provide some information. And we can also use these variety of other tabs. So for example, if we wanted to know better about the history, the mission, what their statement on DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion is, and then so on with a lot of these examples, we can get that information right here. And we can also go right here to investors to get more financial information. So if I click on news, for example, this is all of the news about our financial reports, basically. We can go to financials to get the financial statements that they've released and the SEC filings that they share every quarter and every year. And we can even get stock information about what's going on with that. And the reason this is all shared is because investors will use these pages to determine whether they want to invest in the HCA or not. And because HCA is a legal or public company, they are legally required to share all of this information to their investors and not hide any of it. Private companies are not under the same discretion, but it is really up to them whether they choose to share that or not, basically. And you can get any answer really in between. So if you're working with a private company, please feel free to reach out to me and I can help you out with all of that. One other thing I wanted to show real quick was that you can also, on the COM 2340 research guide, go down here to cost of living for the box and click on this cost of living index. And if we go to the calculator right here on the left, we can actually determine in the different parts of the United States how much it might cost to live in a specific area under a given salary. So let's say I'm making $50,000 in Nashville. So we'll find Nashville should be here. Yes, perfect. And let's say I'm moving to, let's just say Tucson, Arizona, and I'm making $50,000. What this calculator is going to do is help us to determine how much would it cost to live as $50,000 in Nashville, whether we need to make a little more or a little less. So if I click on calculate, you'll see right here to have the exact same standard of living for $50,000 in Nashville, you would need to make $52,323 in Tucson, Arizona. And then we'll get a lot more information right here about where that falls under. So for example, groceries would cost more in Tucson than they do in Nashville, but housing will cost 8% less here. And so it's always kind of a gamble whether these things actually apply to your life or not. And you can even get a whole bunch of information specifically here about the exact cost for things. So it looks like steak, for example, is not that much different in Nashville or Tucson. But if you look at the home prices, you can see a significant difference in the average home prices in these two cities, basically. So that's just something very helpful to think about as you're considering where you might want to move after you graduate from your time here at Belmont. And those are really two things I just wanted to talk about real quick that didn't fit anywhere else. But again, if you have any questions about either looking into company information or thinking about the cost of living, please feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best in searching in this class.